What is up, guys? Welcome back to Into the Rainforest, episode number 3. On this podcast, I like to interview everyday members of my community, Twitch friends I've gotten to meet along the way, and just to kind of hear your guys' stories, to hear all of your about your lives and just kind of your journey that you've been on. I know a lot of other podcasts, some of your favorite podcasts, maybe they like to get the most famous person, the person with the most number of followers, just the person that everybody knows or wants to learn more about because they have all of these followers, they have all of this clout, whatever it is. But on this podcast, I want to just interview and get to talk with and get to know better the people that are in my community, the people that I've met, because everybody has an incredible and unique story. So thank you guys so much for all the love on the podcast. Thank you guys for listening the past weeks. This is episode number 3. We have someone very special, very, very special on this episode. Today, we have the man, the myth, the legend, SteeleyTV, one of our incredible moderators on my stream. I've known Steely for over 2 years now. I've personally met and hung out with Steely in person before. It was so much fun down in North Carolina last summer. Steely and I, we've gotten to spend a lot of time together. We've gotten to hang out. I text and call Steely all the time. We definitely know each other pretty well. So this episode has been a long time coming. Super excited just for this one. I hope you guys all enjoy. So without further ado, Steely, what is your name and where are you from?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ginge gang.
Good morning.
Ginge.
Good morning.
I'm very happy to be here, but honestly, it's a little bit nerve wracking. I'm not gonna lie, but it's definitely fun. Definitely fun. I think I'm just excited. But
dude, me too.
Everybody, they know me as Steely. Few people know that my name is actually Matt. So
Matt.
I'm Matt, and Steel is my last name, so that's where you get Steely from. But I'm from the Northeast. I born and raised in New Hampshire. Still live here now. Went to college and things like that here as well. So Northeast boy through and through, and yeah.
Nice. I've actually never been up to New Hampshire or Maine or Vermont. I've actually never been up there before, but I do know and I do hear that the fall up there is like super pretty. Dude,
it is unmatched.
Yeah, like the fall with all the trees and I would love to go up there and do like a drive, I guess, through some of the parks or through, I think, is there a national park up there, up near there or something? What's it called again? I'm totally blanking.
So there's 2 sets of mountains. I think one of them, I'm not a big national park guy.
I forget. It's in
I know we
Maine,
have a ton of state parks.
Okay.
Acadia.
Yes, that one.
Acadia's up in Maine, and then we have 2 mountain ranges. One of them in Vermont, one of them in New Hampshire. So we have the Green Mountains and we have the White Mountains.
Oh,
probably
that's sweet.
One of the best drives that you can, I guess, take during the fall. In New Hampshire, at least, we're known for what we lovingly refer to as leaf peepers, because we get people from all over the country.
Oh,
They'll come to New Hampshire, and there's one road. It's the Kankomagus Highway.
Wow.
And it goes between North Conway and Lincoln, New Hampshire, which is where Loon Mountain is. And there's one specific turn. It's a hairpin turn on the Kankomagus that it's pretty nationally known.
Okay.
But it's a very, very beautiful area. There's a lot of different pull-offs you can go and see all the mountain ranges with all different colors and stuff like that. But it's something I definitely take for granted, and I'll be the first one to admit it. I may have only done it a few times, but
dude,
it's
I totally feel
one of the
that.
places that Mel and I went on one of our like I guess like first ish dates.
Oh, that's awesome. That
We
sounds super nice. That's awesome, dude.
so when we went the drive, it's only about, I don't know, feel probably 15, 20 miles. It took us 9 hours because of how many
Wow.
cars were on the road.
It's that
Um,
popular. 9
yeah,
hours long. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
dude.
It was. We got up there really early in the morning, and you literally crawled all the way across.
Wow.
Like we weren't moving for an hour at a time sometimes, just because of the number of cars and people stopping and take pictures. And
Oh my
by the time
gosh. That's
we ended
crazy.
up leaving, it was dark, very
That's
much so dark.
wild. That's actually crazy. That
It's a
reminds
it's a
me
very
of
cool spot though.
that's so cool, dude. That reminds me of like sometimes when my family likes to kind of go on national park trips, and we've been around to a lot of the ones, especially out west. We've been to a lot of them out there. And in Yellowstone, sometimes when there's like animals or whatever, like on the road or even like outside next to the road or whatever, there's like cars that will just stop like right in the middle of the street, and they'll just like everyone will get out of their car and like go look at them or take pictures or whatever. But oh my gosh, 9 hours. What you got a lot of quality time though on that
Oh yeah,
on that first date in the car.
yeah, we did.
That's a
Yeah, we
W.
did. We certainly got to know each other in that car. I
Yeah,
mean, there was, we were jamming. I was
that's
making
fun.
friends with the cars that are around us because nobody's going anywhere, so you can just yell
Yeah,
at people or catch
that's
up and
fun.
stuff. But yeah, it's a really really cool spot.
That's sweet. I would love to go up there sometime. I think that would be super cool. I love snowboarding. I've only been to one major snowboarding or skiing resort mountain, and that was in Vail, Colorado. I've been there 2 times, 2 different years. Um, but yeah, I've only been there, but I know that out east there's some really nice ones. Like Killington, I know is like I think
Yep.
probably like one of the biggest or the biggest one out there. But yeah, I love snowboarding. I've like over the past like I guess 4 years or so, I feel like I have I guess gotten to be more into snowboarding, or like I guess I've gone more times than earlier in my life, but it's been such a fun time. I don't know if you
Um,
ski or snowboard. I think we've talked about that a little bit before.
yeah, I ski. I skied a little bit. I skied a lot more
Nice.
as a kid. As soon as
Yeah.
I got into playing some more like competitive hockey, it's
Yes.
also a winter sport, and
Mm-hmm.
my family. Excuse me, hold on, I need some water.
Yeah, hockey would definitely, I guess, like take up a lot of time, you know?
It took up a lot of time,
Yeah.
and it was just a generally expensive sport. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like we were gonna go out and have some fun on the mountain. And it is a more dangerous sport. I feel like there are a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
injuries, so
Yeah,
we just
it
didn't want
is.
to pay for a year of hockey and then go out and go skiing as a family during the
Mm-hmm.
winter and end up breaking a leg and being out for the
Yeah.
entire hockey season. So I picked it back up in college, and unfortunately, with my profession having the busier seasons during the winter,
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh
haven't been
yeah.
able to get out as much as I'd like to since graduating. But there's possibly some plans of us getting out as a work group actually to go for a little ski outing. So that could be
Oh,
a good time.
nice. Yeah, that does
But
sound good.
yeah,
Nice.
it's exciting. I like skiing a lot. I just
Yeah.
wish I had more time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I love the mountains, and I think that the mountains are something that a lot of people in the US like don't actually understand like how awesome mountains are, because out east you got mountains, even in like through like Tennessee and like even North
Yep.
Carolina a little bit, you got like the Smoky Mountains, which are like um they're like smaller than the ones like in the Northeast, and then obviously out west with the Rockies. But I heard something actually, just like on a side note, that the Rocky Mountains are smaller than like or sorry, I said that wrong. The Smoky Mountains are smaller than the Rocky Mountains out west, because they're actually a lot older.
Huh.
Which I don't know if you knew that, but they're actually a lot older. They dated them or whatever, and they've
Mm.
gotten like weathered. You know what I mean? Like weathering and all that stuff like has like made them smaller, so that's why they're like not as like jagged, and peak and like everything like
I mean,
all the jagged peaks out west.
that definitely checks out. I
Yeah.
mean, it makes sense. It's
Yeah.
something I haven't heard before, but that's really interesting, actually.
And I think that it's like what I was saying with like the mountains and everything, that is so cool, because it's like you go to some place like Florida, you know, or you go to Ohio, or you go to, I don't even know, like Kansas, or some of these other places that are like just, you know,
Flat.
people know like they're flat, you know what I mean? And it's just like
yeah.
people don't have that understanding. A lot of people like don't even know, like some people probably in their life have never even seen mountains before, or like, you know, just even like these just beautiful hills or anything. Like some people have like literally never seen those before. And it's like when you see them for the first time, or like when you like get to go on hikes or ski or snowboard, or go through drives to the hills and like stuff like that, it is like so cool. And like I feel like a lot of people like could definitely use that, you know what I mean? And they could
Oh yeah.
they should, like, if you can, like, take a road trip or something, you know, or I don't know, you know, take a road
That's
trip
one of the
go do something.
one of the coolest things about New Hampshire is that I feel like our geography is set up, you know, more uniquely than most places, because where I'm at, you know, I can do literally anything.
Yeah.
I
It's
can
a
go
good
skiing in the
area.
winter. I can go hiking in the spring, summer, fall. I can go to the beach. I can go to the lakes. I can go to, you know, a major city. Yeah, it's not in New Hampshire. It's in Massachusetts. Boston's pretty close.
Yeah.
Like I can walk through every, you know, aspect of life. We can go surfing at the beach, you know, like whatever you want to do, it's within, you know, 2 hours of where I am right now. And not to mention, we can also, you know, country hop and head up, you know, across the border into Canada within, you know, a 5-ish hour drive.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool spot.
It's
I mean,
it's
especially
so
considering
cool.
New Hampshire. I don't know if you knew this or not, but New Hampshire has, I don't know if you'd call it a club or not, but a lot of people who have accomplished it can consider themselves a part of a club called the New Hampshire 48. And New Hampshire
Oh.
48, or the NH 48, is that there's 48 different 4,000 plus foot peaks in
Oh
New
my
Hampshire.
gosh, that's crazy.
And there are people that, you know, are hiking enthusiasts that go out and keep track of, you know, each of the different 48 peaks and try to accomplish them, you know, within a year or 2 years. And there are a lot of different hikes you can go on. I mean, 48 4,000 foot peaks alone. Pretty
Wow.
impressive, pretty exciting. There's
48
a lot
different,
of different.
that's so many. I feel like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
I mean, some of them are like, you know, you have two peaks on the same mountain. I mean, I don't want to say
Yeah.
we have 48 different mountains. I don't actually know.
No,
but,
I mean,
I
Ohio,
do know
we don't
that
have
New Hampshire
any.
48. That's fair.
We have
That's
zero.
Fair. I'll give you that. We actually have a grand total of 0.
We have
but,
zero peaks in Ohio.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
That's
definitely
awesome.
an outdoorsy state that you can, you know, get every aspect of life in. But
That's super cool. Going to the next thing, I know you talked about it a little bit, just with like, you know, just where you live and all the things to do. But what are your some of your favorite things to do, like outside of gaming, or on Twitch? Because I know we game together. We game together a ton. We love that.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time getting to play with each other, and I think that's like it's always a great time. Always love getting to game and just laugh and have fun.
Great banter.
Great banter and just good times and talks and everything.
Absolutely.
But what are some of your favorite things you would say? Because I know you do a lot outside of like gaming and Twitch and that whole world. But like, what are some of your favorite things you would say to do like outside of it?
I would say I'm definitely a outdoorsy person.
Same, dude.
We've talked a lot about the love that we both have for fishing.
Yes,
that was
dude.
something that I mean, growing up, I lived, you know, not even a 2-minute drive from a little pond in my town. And my childhood best friend growing up and neighbor, we used to, you know, I'd go and stay over his house because he was a little bit closer than I was. He was like, you know, up the closer to it by a house or two.
Yeah.
And we would pack a hockey bag full
Oh
of
my.
all of our fishing equipment, lawn chairs, like you name it. And we would
It was
wake
in
up
that
at like
bag.
4:30 in the morning and walk
Dang.
however far it was to this boat launch, and we'd get there at 5 or 6 in the morning to get first bite, and we'd be
Wow.
there with all different types of tackle to go from largemouth, smallmouth, pickerel to, as the night came, to try to catch some of the catfish that we have. Like we
Yeah.
would literally sit there for 14 to 16 hours at a time and just fish.
That's crazy. That's a long
So
time, dude. That's a
yeah,
long time.
it
Wow.
definitely gave me a very deep appreciation for the outdoors, being able to see
Mm-hmm.
just the wildlife going on down by the lake. I used to go up and actually go boating at a different lake in New Hampshire, the largest lake in New Hampshire, Lake Winnipesaukee.
Okay,
Represent.
nice.
So I used to go boating there a lot with my family growing up.
That's fun.
Was never really a beach guy. I'd
No,
always
I'm that same way, dude. I'm actually that same way with the beach. Like I mean, you know me, like I'm pretty like fair skinned and I just get torched at the beach, especially if it's like a very white sand beach, like some of the ones in
oh yeah.
Florida. And like my family grew up going to Siesta Key Beach, which is in the Gulf side of Florida, and it literally has like very, very like flaky white, very grainy sand, and it just reflects off of the sun so bad that you just
Oh yeah.
your ankles get torched. Like it's like your ankles, your calves, everything just gets absolutely so sunburned. Like it's crazy. No, but I feel you. That I feel you on the beach.
Worst sunburn spot. Go. Where's the
Oh,
worst spot to get a
dude.
sunburn? I got two.
I have an actual story for this, so it's not going to be long. But basically, I was I don't even know how old I was. I was probably in middle school or something, and we went fishing in Florida a lot, and I can maybe talk about that later. But we never had done this before, so we live on the beach in Florida and like the Gulf side, and we decided that it was a good idea to take all of our kayaks and walk across the street and go to the bay side. So there's like a bay where it's surrounded. It's like a canal inlet, but it's like pretty big. And there's like mangrove forest and stuff over there. So there's actually, you can catch really good fish over there, mainly sea trout. And you go like bobber fishing. So, use a bobber with like 5-6 foot of like leader line, and then just a live shrimp. And we caught some very nice sea trout, like really nice. Like we actually, I think we did a catch and cook that day. We made them for dinner. It was really fun. But as we're kayaking, you know how your swim trunks like ride up on your legs, right?
Oh yeah.
So I was young and I did not think of that, and I was stupid. And so we were out there for all day long, and it was in the summer, or it was like in the summer, or it was spring break or something crazy, and it was hot all day long, burning sun. Me, as a redhead dude, I literally just, my legs never seeing the light of day. I got torched on my thighs, like on my, like right above my knee, like right there. Just got the worst sunburn of my life. It hurt so bad. It instantly like peeled. It instantly, like, it was terrible. It was so bad. I had to put like aloe and all that stuff on it. Probably had some like pretty bad burns. But then the next day we literally went to Universal Studios.
Yikes.
And I wasn't missing that. And so I wore jeans to Universal Studios.
Dude.
Yeah, in like 95-degree weather. And I was just begging to go on all the water rides like all day long, because I literally had the worst sunburn of my life on my kneecaps, like on my like upper kneecaps, thigh. And I literally was like, I'm not going to miss going to Universal Studios for the whole day. And so I just went, but I wore jeans. And it was
talk
so
about
bad.
Sandpaper, bro. That's
so
tough.
Bad. Yeah,
That's tough.
It was bad. But what about you? What's the worst sunburn?
I can think of two specifically. One, when I was younger, a bunch of the like hockey families on one of the hockey teams that I was a part of, we decided at one point, I think it was on like a school vacation because it was fairly mild, and we went down to Florida. It was
Okay.
actually we could look up the date probably because
It was like a crazy
I
day
re-
or something.
I remember watching the Red Sox game. I don't know who they
Oh,
were
okay.
playing, but it was the day that the Red Sox hit back to back to back to back home runs.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah, you could
I remember
probably,
just
that's,
losing my mind because I don't
yeah.
think that that's happened again since. It was four straight batters hit home
Wow.
runs.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and I was just outside all day. We had we rented a house that was right on the beach, so we were just outside playing, swimming, frisbee, wiffle ball, you name it. And I just remember waking up the next day and literally was just sunburned from head to toe,
Oh my
like my
gosh.
entire
Head to
body. Like I
toe.
I looked like a tomato. Um,
No.
and I just couldn't get comfortable, like laying in bed feels like sandpaper, putting on any sort of clothes just would just rub and it just burned and it just
Jeez.
hurt a lot.
Yeah,
But
dude.
a specific spot that I had gotten a sunburn on when I actually did a summer or lived for a summer on Martha's Vineyard off the
Okay.
coast of Massachusetts. And I worked in a bank and I would take my lunches like literally on the beach because the bank was right across. It's a small island, so it was pretty close to a beach no matter where you were. And I had the privilege of being able to like take my lunches at the beach, and I had a moped. So as soon as I got off work, I'd go home, change
Wow.
out of my button up,
That's
throw on a
vibes right there.
bathing suit, grab a speaker, and just kind of cruise, find a beach. And I burnt the tops of my feet pretty bad
Oh my
one day,
gosh. The tops, the
and
feet. Yep.
that is probably the single worst. The tops or the bottoms of your feet are probably the
Oh,
single worst location to get sunburns because like there's literally nothing you can do that's going to make it better. Like
yep.
it's awful. But
Yep.
yeah, it was I'd probably have to say if there's like one spot on the body that you do not want to get a sunburn, I'd say anywhere on your feet. Honestly, it's pretty awful.
Dude, I feel that. I think there was maybe one time that I got burned on my feet. I can't remember it exactly, but I think it was on the tops of my feet. I think I was maybe rafting or something. I forget what happened, but yeah, it's pretty the tops of the feet is crazy. I don't know if you ever watched the TV show Survivor, but I remember
Oh yeah.
there was one guy that was pretty good, and I think he had to be medvaced off the island because he literally got sunburnt so bad on his feet that he couldn't even walk. I forget, but I think I remember watching that season or something. It was a long time ago, but real quick, back to the fishing stuff because I love fishing. I love it's actually one of my favorite things to do, like outside of streaming. Now, I feel like I used to be a lot more into it back when I actually kind of created content, I guess, like around fishing stuff. As you know, I used to have a thing called Chomped Fishing, and it was like really, really fun. I really was passionate about it and filmmaking and just early YouTube videos, and filmed it all on a GoPro, and it was fun though. I edited an iMovie on my laptop. Like it was crazy, but
Oh yeah.
back then I grew up, so my grandparents have a house in um my grandparents have a house in Siesta Key, and we grew up. They've had it ever since I was a baby, so we grew up going there like once or twice a year. And so down there, though, I'm not sure if you ever have gone. You've fished in Florida? Like, have you gone like saltwater fishing down there?
Yeah, I actually one of my best fishing stories was on a
Yep.
deep sea trip down in Florida. It was
Yeah,
a really good
dude.
time.
And so like like it's so we had that house, and there were it's a really nice place. I really, really like it a lot, and it has like everything, like right outside there. It has everything. You can go fish from the beach. It has a sandy channel that you can just see whatever you want to catch is down there. You can catch shark, you can catch like anything, big, like ladyfish, bluefish, mackerel, anything, redfish. Like they all swim through that channel. So you can fish there, you can fish in the rocks, you can fish in these little reefs. You know, like there's all these random little areas that you can fish down there, and they're literally right next to the house. And so what we would do is we would go to the bait shop and we would pick up live shrimp. We'd go there like maybe once a day, right? And we go to the tackle shop and literally we would go back to the house, throw on the live shrimp just on like a little like split shot weight, whatever, with a little bit of leader line, and you would get, I'm not kidding, you would get a bite within maybe 20 seconds of your,
those are the best days,
you
dude.
know what I mean? And that's just how it was every single day down there. And like it was
That's
so
incredible.
it was so fast, it was so easy to catch fish. You would catch a huge variety of fish, depending on the time of year. In the spring and summer was definitely better for catching variety, because in the winter you would catch mostly like sheep's head and like snapper and like little different varieties. But dude, it was crazy. But what that did though, it also like spoiled me though too, low key, because like, like, you know, because you talked about earlier how you would go fishing for like 15, 16 hours a day, like catching random different things. But like there was probably times where freshwater fishing where you wouldn't catch anything. And that's the same thing how it is in Ohio, where you go pond, lake fishing, whatever. You're going to be going for a couple hours and, you know, you're not going to catch anything. Like I went on trips out west. I've been in different parts of the country, and there's just nothing quite like saltwater fishing in like either intercoastal or like in these reefs or in the bay or just wherever, like kind of around there. It's like, it seems like it's so easy sometimes, you know. It's crazy. But
when you're right over like you know, one of their paths, whether it's like a schooling path or you're in the current and that's just where the fish are and they're just always going to be eaten. That's unmatched.
It's just unmatched. It's like, it just seems like it's so easy to catch fish, when like reality, it's like you do have to have some experience. You know, you have to use the right bait, and you do need to kind of know like what you're doing. But like once you know that, it's just like automatic, you know.
Automatic.
And I think that's one difference between like saltwater and freshwater. I feel like with freshwater, it's like sometimes for bass fishing or for I don't know, trout or pike or, you know, any of those other species that are like kind of like more north, it's like you kind of have to know like what to use, you know, and you kind of have to know your areas
and the thing is,
where
dude,
to go.
you could use something. You could use, you know, a specific color of sticko and it'll hit every time. You can go the next weekend, you know, the next day. Not a single fish is going to bite that color sticko or, you know, that popper that you're using. It is wildly all over the place, you know.
No, I totally feel that with pond fishing. So that's mainly what I do. What I used to do in Ohio a lot was go to ponds and just for largemouth bass. And I would always use a pumpkin green Senko, whether it was like there was one brand that I really liked. It was kind of bougie. I think it was called like Yamamoto or something, but it was
I'm a big Yamamoto guy.
They were like the green bag, and they were like, they're kind of expensive, but they were like really good. Like I would use those and they would hit. And so I would always use like a pumpkin green coloring that kind of would like match the water, and it did super well. But then I would go to some places where I knew that there were big bass or like really big fish in there, and it wouldn't work. And I'm just like, what the heck is this? You know, so it's like, I feel like you had to be, you're right. Like you had to be very strategic in like your baits, or you kind of had to come prepared, you know, bring like the massive tackle box or whatever with all the,
so like I was a big fan of like the Senko worms, right? So when I would go to like either Bass Pro or Cabela's, they had like the clear tackle boxes, and you could get like, you know, 500 of them, and it just had every single color. And there was days that I was just cycling, you know, one color, the next color, the next color, just trying to figure out what was gonna, you know, get fish biting that day. Because again, I feel like Senkos were just always very consistent hitting, but it really depended on the day and the conditions, the sun, the colors on what was going to reflect and stuff. It is wild.
It is wild to like kind of dive into all that stuff. We won't go too deep into all the fishing topic because I know some people in the chat obviously, might not know much about fishing or whatnot, but basically, if you guys don't know what a Senko or what that is, basically all that is just an imitation worm. So a lot of largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, different fish species in the Middle East, or not the Middle East, the Midwest or the Northeast. They like the worm in, I don't even know, like a nightcrawler or whatever. And so a Senko is basically just an imitation worm. So it's just a bait, a type of fish bait that looks like a worm, but they're colored really weirdly. Like they can have like different colors, like green or orange or cyan green or purple with sparkles in it, or there's all these different colors. But yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
Transitioning to the next thing, I had a question that I think that I really want to hear the answer to this, because I think it'll be interesting. If you could spend a day with anyone on Earth, who would it be and why? And this can be like anybody. And don't think you have to do like someone you love or someone you're like super close with, like Mel or anyone like that, because obviously, you get to do that probably exactly. So it could be like anyone, like a celebrity or just anybody that is alive right now. Like who do you think would be interesting to spend a day with or to talk with? And take your time if you need to.
Really good question.
Take your time if you need to, because I know that this can be it's kind of an interesting question to think about. I was thinking about it myself. Like I'm just like, oh man, it's tough because there's a lot of people. You know what I mean? It's like 7 billion people. So
there are two people that kind of immediately come to mind.
Okay.
And one, I'd probably have to say the first one that came to mind for me was another thing that's very important in my life that we, I guess, hadn't really touched on, but I think we've talked about it before, is music. Music is super influential for me. I think it has a lot of influence on my mood, and somebody that I listen to a lot. I'm sure if Nugs were here, he'd be able to probably say who it was. But I listened to a lot of Logic when I was in high school, up through college, and I've been to a number of concerts for him, and I
that's
think
awesome.
That being able to sit down and kind of talk with him about his peace, love, and positivity kind of motto, and just be able to bounce some things off of him would be really cool to kind of live a day in his shoes, even though he hasn't released a lot of music recently. He actually has a new album coming out soon, so I'm excited for that.
Didn't he say like he was going to stop or like retire in a sense because he had a family, right? But now he's coming back, right?
Well, I think what it was is it had something to do with probably his record deal and how he was not being able to produce the music that he wanted to produce, which I feel like happens a lot.
Yeah.
But I think this album that's coming out in like the next month or so is his first like self-produced album since he went on a record deal. So I'm really excited to kind of see what it's like. But yeah, I think that if I had the opportunity to sit down with somebody, it would either have to be Logic or this other person would be kind of out of a completely different direction, just to kind of talk and listen to hear what they'd have to say. It's just Elon Musk.
Dude, 100%.
Incredibly smart guy.
Like
incredibly smart guy.
I agree. But I think that like Elon Musk is, especially with his recent, buying of Twitter and everything, it's just kind of like, dude, I'm on Twitter. Like, obviously, I'm not the best at Twitter. I suck at it, frankly, but like I use it because that's what everybody uses. You know what I mean? In this gaming streaming world and whatnot, it's how I communicate with like followers and stuff. I feel like I'm not that good at Twitter. I feel like I'm okay, but I feel like I use my Twitter mostly for like updates and stuff, not really for like emotional tweeting or anything like that. But
that's fair.
With his purchase of Twitter, I feel like there's been like a couple things that have just gone, like I've seen they've tried out some new things, and they haven't worked, and then they've tried out other things, but like I don't know. And dude, he would be a really good one, because I don't know too much personally about Elon Musk, but I know that he has like, I know he had a kind of a crazy upbringing and stuff too, right? It was
pretty wild upbringing. I mean, he co-founded PayPal with I think it was his brother or something like that at the time, when he was wicked young.
That's just crazy.
Which is what got his initial, wealth that then he rolled into Tesla, as well as his, what is it, Neuralink, and then you have like the Boring Company, which is I think the one that came out with the flamethrowers, but also the what's it called?
You got the Tesla,
the tubes with the trains.
That's what I was about to
stuff.
say. That's what I was about to say. You got the Tesla. Gosh dang it! I just saw something. I just saw someone go through that the other day.
It's like
in
the
LA.
Hyperloop or something.
Yeah, the Hyperlink or something. Yeah,
Hyperloop, or I don't know.
Yeah,
but whatever
I forget.
it is, he's got his feet in so many different, like,
it's just so many different channels.
Stuff.
Yeah,
and just the massive amount of wealth, or massive amount of wealth of knowledge that he would have to be able to just sit down and talk and pick his brain about any aspect
and that
of life.
That legendary picture of him smoking with Joe Rogan
experience
on that Joe Rogan thing, when he just like, his eyebrow was like so high up in the air. Like, he just has so many moments where it's like, dude, not gonna lie, I feel like the man has made some major mistakes, you know what I mean? And it's like, we all have, like we all have messed up. We've all done things that I feel like we're not happy or proud of. So it's like, for him being on such a big stage and just in such a huge light, like ever expanding, I feel like it would just be crazy just to be like talking with him. You know what I mean? I think that's something that's just like, that's something that I think is just wild, to be like, where is your head at? You know what I mean? Or like, what's going through your mind? Like, I can't even begin to imagine. Did he go to college, like a prestigious college or something, or did he drop out? I totally forget. I don't even know.
Like, I don't know if he went to college or not, but if I had to guess, I'd say he'd probably he went to UPenn.
Penn, okay, got you. I forgot if he dropped out of college or not. I don't think he did, but I forget. There's a lot of people that I know of that are like these ultra, billionaires, millionaires that, like, just you hear that like, oh, I dropped out of college and pursued this or whatever, like to pursue a passion or whatnot. But I forget if he was like that too. But
he went to UPenn, and then he started at Stanford for a graduate degree, but then after 2 days dropped out and then founded a company.
Okay, that's what I heard.
For $310 million, and then founded another company that he sold for $1.5 billion.
Yeah, so that's just insane. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
I think that those would be those two would be really good to talk to. Like, those two would be.
Dude, even having all three, like me, Logic, and Elon all in the same room,
would be
I feel
insane.
like that would be a wild group.
Oh yeah, and I think that with like going back to Logic, I mean, I think that Logic is such an awesome dude too. Like, if you didn't know, I know a few things about Logic. He actually does game quite a bit, and he actually streamed on Twitch, which is like kind of cool that he's like kind of in a sense like our world, like, and knows about a lot of that, because there's so many people out there that have no idea what Twitch is. They don't know the first thing about Twitch. They don't know the first thing about live streaming. They don't know any of that. And so it's kind of cool that he like tapped into that, and like he knows kind of that kind of side of things. But then also that his music is just incredible. Like I love his stuff. I think that what he made with his project with the 1-800 with that song, I mean, dude, that song just gives me chills, like goosebumps, like when I think of that song. Like, it is
watching them perform that live at whatever it was, the Grammys or whatever, when he brought out all those people.
I got chills right now.
I just got chills thinking about it.
Like, it's just crazy, bro. Like, for a rapper, for a artist to have that much influence and make a song that is just that incredible, like, is crazy. And I think that's another thing we talked about in the last episode last week. Like, music is so impactful and so important in culture.
Yes.
And it's just, you know, I feel like more and more and more and more people every single day kind of discover this love of music that I've had for a long time, that you've had for a long time. And you know, it's people discover that, and they're like impacted by that, and they can kind of, you know, learn I guess from music, and like just grow like even through music. And I think that song is just incredible. Like that song, what it did, I think for a lot of people is really, really, really cool.
Very influential.
Yeah. And then you got some of his like earlier stuff, you know, like with Pressure, and, you know, I forget what the Ballin' and some of those other things that were like, I think those were on SoundCloud, weren't they?
So the funny thing is, to bring gaming back into this, to loop it back in, I think, and I think that Logic has actually said something about it before, but he owes a lot of what, you know, allowed him to grow in the music space to gaming, and more specifically to FaZe Clan. I don't know if you knew that, but
that's interesting.
Where he got a lot of publicity was FaZe Clan using, I think I remember that, one of his songs on one of their biggest ill camps.
Yes, dude, I remember that. Was it Ballin'
on the scene?
I think maybe
it was either, it might have been Ballin'.
I forget.
I can't remember the exact song, but yeah, I mean,
dude, that's awesome.
I didn't listen to, you know, his mixtapes until after I had been introduced to Under Pressure.
Yeah, I love that song,
and
dude.
Going back and listening to, you know, just all of his, you know, original mixtapes, like all the Young Sinatras, those are probably some of my favorite songs by him. It's just,
when I was in like,
listened to them in so long,
dude, when I was in like middle school or high school, I forget when it was, but when I first downloaded SoundCloud, because before I only had like, I think it was Apple, like iTunes, like back then, but I first downloaded SoundCloud, and I just listened to all of those Logic songs. So the first ones I ever listened to on SoundCloud. Yeah. I don't know if they first released on there or if someone just uploaded them to SoundCloud. I have no idea, but they had a lot of views and plays, so maybe it was actually like his account or something. But it was they were good, man. I remember when I was in high school, I think it was a couple of my friends, they went to some of his concerts. I never went. I've actually never been to a Logic concert, but I know a couple of my friends had gone to one of his concerts. It was the astronaut one, and he got like one of my friends got like an astronaut jacket. I don't know if you remember that or whatnot.
That. Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, he got like a spacesuit jacket or something. It was cool.
Yeah, so that was actually the first Logic concerts that I had been to as well. They were when I was in high school. I went with a really, really good friend of mine, Sean, and we actually got the VIP tickets. It was one of the first concerts that I actually went to. You know, not like Boston Pops, you know, growing up, like symphony concert, like the first one that I went to, like on my own. And wildly enough, you know, I feel like when I'm in a situation, I am generally a pretty talkative person, and try to just, you know, get to know people and things like that. And with the VIP, we got to meet Logic's DJ Rhetoric.
Oh,
and,
that's awesome.
I also got to meet his like his stage manager, and we actually I've stayed in touch with his manager, stage manager that I met on that tour for the past like 7 years. You know, every so often I'll just check in, see how he's doing. Anytime Logic goes on tour, I see if he's going to be, you know, in the area of you know, the shows that are going to be in my town or my city. And I've tried to catch up with him when I have, and it's been pretty amazing, honestly. It's
that's awesome,
probably
bro.
half
That's such
of
a
the
cool
reason
connection.
that I love him so, like, love his music so much, other than the fact that the music itself is just very good. But yeah, no, it's just a really, really cool. It kind of just, you know, it feels much more than music after you know, getting to experience some of the stuff that I got to experience.
100%, dude. I totally agree. I think that's such a cool connection that you have, like, with that, and just getting to, like, from an earlier age or earlier stage in your life, like, getting to kind of like meet those people and have those connections. I think is so awesome. But dude, that's a great answer. That's a really good answer to that question, dude. I wouldn't. I feel like for me, if I were to answer that question, I feel like I would have to like think about it for a little while. Like it's tough, dude. It's so tough to like
It is
to
hard.
just choose, like, because there's
It's
so many
hard.
people out there. It's like, what even avenue do you even go about that? But
Yeah.
transitioning in the next thing, I wanted to ask, if you could go on a dream trip or a dream vacation or anything like that, where would you choose to go and why?
I have no idea why. Not a clue why, but forever, like literally for as long as I can
Yeah.
remember, the place that I have like dreamed of going
Uh,
is Fiji.
dude,
And I don't know why. I have
that would
no
be
idea
crazy.
why. There's nothing that has like
dude.
told me like Fiji's the spot you need to go. Like I don't remember seeing any videos about Fiji. I've always just been like Fiji would be such a cool place to just explore.
Bro,
And
it has a
it's
sweet name.
yeah.
Fiji
And
is
I mean they
just
got the
cool.
water bottle,
Dude,
you
the
know,
water,
they got
yeah.
the water.
Yeah,
But
they got everything
yeah,
there.
I don't know why Fiji is the spot that I want to go. I mean, I can imagine it's a beautiful place, you know, an island
yeah.
out wherever it is.
That's awesome.
And I have no idea why I would have to say Fiji. But if I had to choose one other than Fiji, another place that I'm actually really excited about being able to hopefully go see in the next couple years is Iceland. There's another. I don't
Dude,
know why I've wanted to go to
Iceland
Iceland again.
is sweet. There's some like really cool
Hot
places.
springs,
Yeah.
you know, waterfalls. I don't
Yep.
know how again I came up with Iceland, but it's something that I've been you know wanting to do. It seems like it's a little bit more attainable. And funny enough, this past I think it was in the fall. Um, my girlfriend Mel and I we did a game, I guess, if you will, where she had seen it on like TikTok or something.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
you both take, you know, little scraps of paper, little note cards or whatever, and the rules were you get to choose, you know, vacation spots.
Whoa.
One was some place that you would had to. It has to be within a driving distance.
Okay.
Another one that was, you know, a flight, but in the US.
Okay.
And then another one that was an international destination that you would want to go to.
Yeah.
We amended it a little bit. And instead of just choosing one international destination, because it was a little bit tough for us to just choose one place, we were allowed 2 international destinations, but one of them would be, you know, more of a tropical Caribbean type vibe. And then the other one would be something with, you know, maybe a little more history or, you know, somewhere else that, you know, 'cause a lot of people associate vacation with like being in, you know, on a beach somewhere.
Oh, yeah. And that's just, there's so many other places out there to go, you know?
Yeah. And,
So
and I
many
wanted to make
places.
sure that, you know, for Melissa loving the beach and all, she had an opportunity to get a couple beach options in there. We put them
Yeah.
all into a hat, and then you take them out, and whatever the last one standing in the
Oh,
hat
that's fun.
is the trip that
That's
we
fun.
were going to plan. And my pick, Reykjavik, Iceland, was the one that was selected.
Wow. That's
So,
awesome, dude. So
at
cool.
some point over the next couple years, because it is a little bit more exotic of
Oh,
a
yeah.
trip,
It's
and we want to make
out
sure
there.
we
It's out
we
there.
plan appropriately, have plenty to do, save money, so we can
Yeah.
have a good time.
Oh, for sure.
We're gonna be trying to plan a trip sometime in the next couple years to Reykjavik and
That's so
go explore
cool.
some Iceland. So we'll see what happens.
I'm
But
not sure on who actually this was, but I know there was a group from my high school that did a trip to Reykjavik, and they loved it. They said I saw some pictures, like it was so pretty. You actually could go fishing up there too. There's like a really big like fishing industry, but I think it's like
Okay.
I think it's like commercial, so like you kind of go.
Noted.
Yeah, that's like one thing you can do is like go on like a fishing boat, and they'll like take you out and you catch like fish, and I think you like it's like a catch and cook. Like I think they like fillet them for you, and then you get to like
Yeah.
eat them or whatever. But I think it's just like cod or something along those lines,
Yeah.
or like halibut. I think it's halibut. I think that's what it is.
I feel
those,
like it's a little chilly up there, so they're not
oh
gonna have
yeah,
too much that's exotic.
yep, dude. But I've seen some beautiful pictures from up there, and like really cool things. That's a W, bro. I think for me,
Yeah,
what I would
I'm
say
excited.
is
I really want to do it.
that's awesome, bro. That's so cool. I think what I would say is probably Japan. I just think that would just be such an insane
W.
trip. Like Japan has so many unique things too. Like they got the mountains, you know. They got those like
Yeah.
really cool like
I've heard there's some
picture places.
crazy snowboarding in Japan, dude.
Oh yeah. So like we could even do that. I wasn't even honestly really thinking of even snowboarding, but that would be insane. That would
I've heard
be
that
awesome.
the snowboarding in Japan is just like almost otherworldly.
Yeah.
It's like it almost
Oh,
rivals
that's
like
sick.
the Alps.
That would be insane. Yeah, I would look into that for sure. But I know like obviously Tokyo, I'm like 95% sure Tokyo is the biggest city in the world. Like almost 100% sure that I think that Tokyo is the biggest city in the entire world. And just based on like population, I think. So like there's obviously probably an infinite number of things to do there. But I mean, me and you, I know we haven't talked about it yet on this podcast, but me and you are extremely into Pokemon, and I think that that would just be one of just the most just wild
Big
wild
influence
thing,
over there.
like in Japan, like to just go around to the shops and like see all the cards or like see all just the culture and everything like that. I think that would be just like super cool to see.
Absolutely. No, I think Japan would be a really cool spot to go to. There's so much that it has to offer in the pop culture side of things that I feel like just being able to go and see it, there'd be so much to take in, but it would be
a lot. I don't even
nonetheless.
know if you could even do it probably in like one trip. You know what I mean? I feel like it's like one of those places where it's like if you're visiting Japan as a country, like I feel like you got to go there for at least like 30 days, like to even try to get like even a good glimpse of like different cities, different
everything that it has to offer.
Yeah, like geography, like there's just so much, you know. So it's like, no, I totally agree. I think have to be like a longer thing, because that's how it was when Gab's family and I went on that trip to the UK when we went to Scotland and England. We didn't get to do like so many things because we were there for so short, you know. So, but it's kind of fun because we're like, oh, we want to go back now, or like, oh, like, we want to go back to like see things we didn't get to see, or you know whatnot. But, dude, that's awesome, bro.
Fun fact about me: I've actually never been across the pond. The only place that I've been that's outside of the U.S. Actually, I think there's two places. I've been to Canada, which is I wouldn't even really consider outside the U.S., but like it is.
It is. Yep.
And then I've been to Turks and Caicos, but that was for my parents' like 10th anniversary. So I was in a hotel room, and they were having their anniversary, but they didn't want to leave us at home. So,
yeah. So it was kind of like a little separate or whatever.
I was very young.
Yeah. You were younger.
I was like 6 years old or something like that. You were so younger. I didn't really do much. But yeah, I haven't really been outside the U.S. a lot at all. So
that's one thing that's awesome, dude. And it's always something to like, it's like something like you can like look forward to, you know? I think that's always kind of something fun to just like have like an idea that, or like, you know, that planned trip or whatever. I think that's such a fun thing, that little like game or whatever. That's so cool, dude. I might actually use that in the future sometime with Gab way down the road or whatnot. That's fun.
Another thing about planning trips that somebody had told me about that I haven't quite had the opportunity to do yet, because we haven't really planned a trip, where we haven't gone on this trip yet. But I've been told once by somebody that every time their family goes on a vacation, the only rule that they have is that they need to plan their next vacation before they get home.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
So whether it's on the flight home or, you know, on the flight there, it's so that they always have, I mean, I'm not talking, you know, a vacation next month. It could be next year.
It could be a while.
Just coming up with the solid foundation of what you're going to do, and then holding, you know, yourselves to it allows you to
Dang.
have something to, be looking forward to almost in perpetuity, which is
Yeah, and it's kind of like
something that
a
would be nice.
motivation thing too, you know?
Yeah.
It's like if you're working, a 9 to 5 and, it might get long or you might get tired or old of it or the busy season comes or
Yeah.
whatever. It's something to kind of just have in the back of your mind. I like that. So you can be thinking of like, oh, like what's your, why am I doing this work? You know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
why am I doing this, or whatnot. I think that's kind
Yeah.
of cool. I
But
think
yeah,
that's
being
really,
able
really
to kind
cool.
of combine those two things,
Mm-hmm.
ask the flight attendant for a napkin or something, whip it up, get a couple places, put it in a hat
That's
on the
cool.
plane on the way back, just have
Wow.
something to look forward to for your next trip. And, you know, uh,
Wow. That's
if you're ever,
awesome.
in a very nice situation, maybe even you can plan it to the point where, you buy the tickets, but, we all
Jeez.
aspire to
Yeah.
get there, but we'll see what happens.
I
Um,
got you.
as for right now, that's kind of what I'm hoping to do is,
Mm-hmm.
have this trip, plan it as we
That's
get
super
there and
cool,
as we're ready
dude.
to leave, kind of come up with what our next one's going to be and have something to look forward to all the time.
Dude, that's awesome. I think that is like super, super cool. I love that. I'm definitely blessed in my with my family. My family always
Mm,
really valued like vacation and travel and stuff. And my dad is like just such an awesome guy, and he worked like really, really hard. Like he put in a lot of hours just with the family business and with like the company and everything. But
yeah.
he always like really valued vacation time too with the family, where like it was like no work, and
Yeah.
I always like really love that because I mean, we've talked a ton, obviously about streaming and this whole thing, but it's so hard to take vacation time with stream, and that. I mean, everyone that's in this industry kind of knows that because it's like with streaming. It's one of those things where it's like if you're not really streaming a lot or whatever, it's you don't really have passive income,
Yeah.
and so that's like the toughest thing. But like I think that was something that was just really, really cool with my dad, was that he always really valued that. And so it's like we always um would like do these like random things. Like they weren't like, a lot of them weren't even um like crazy like wild international vacations.
Yeah.
But it was just like the time with each other that was like really fun. Like one of our trips, like, well, like I said before, we go to a lot of national parks, right? And
Yeah.
so one of them that we did was we literally went to Kentucky, which is like literally one state below us, but we went to this place called it was called like Mammoth Caves National Park. It's a national park, and
Hmm.
basically it's like just these insane caves and everything. We went on these like crazy like expeditions and like walking through them and all these like hikes and different things, but it was like really fun. It turned up,
That's
and it
awesome.
was kind of like a camping, it's like kind of like a rustic like camping type thing, but
Yeah.
it was really, really fun. So like, like vacations don't always have to be like these like crazy, like wild trips, but I think
Yeah.
that's super cool.
I think growing up, I didn't really appreciate as much as I really should have the
Mm-hmm.
vacations that I was taking because they never felt like vacations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had mentioned before, I grew up playing a lot of hockey,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a very involving sport where we would be in tournaments, any number of weekends out of the year, especially during the summer. Those were a lot of showcase tournaments where you'd
Mm-hmm.
go and kind of play in front of your scouts for high schools, colleges, and things of the such. And, um, I played and stayed in, probably most of the states in the Northeast and on the East Coast. Like my mom actually kept a list at one point of every single hockey rink that we had gone to, and it was like well over a
Mm-hmm.
hundred different rinks,
Wow. Oh my
almost probably
gosh.
pushing 200 different rinks. Because like, there's probably not too many hockey rinks in the Northeast that I haven't been to, and we would go, and stay as a team. Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes they were travel. Like I went to the national tournament one year, and my team flew to North Carolina, and we spent a week
Oh,
there.
that's awesome.
Um, during the summer, sometimes we'd go and just spend, a week somewhere out in Vermont, somewhere in Maine, somewhere down in Mass. Like, I mean, yeah, they're all pretty local, but my parents, my dad
Mm-hmm.
had to take time off work, and
Yep.
we would spend a lot of time together, with friends
Yeah.
and families, especially. But I think I didn't really appreciate as much as
Oh,
I should
100%,
have
dude.
growing up. That time was a lot more, of what our vacations looked like
Yeah.
versus, the seeing other folks or people that are going, on international trips with their families and things of the such.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I think that those are like, it's so important to realize that. I think like once you get older, like you gain that like perspective, you
that
know what I mean?
perspective.
Because it's like that's so important to have that of like that feeling of gratitude or that feeling of, just like, man, I might have taken that for granted, even though it
Yeah,
was just like something that, you thought is normal as like going to all these hockey places to play and whatnot. But
yeah. It's
um
funny enough, perspective. That's a very big word in my life. It's
yeah.
as you know, I got that tattooed on my
Yes.
leg, so I see
Yep.
it every day.
Yes,
Just
sir,
keeping that
dude.
that perspective open, always
Mm-hmm.
changing. Take a look at things from other people's perspectives, and I think it will make
Yeah.
you a much better person in the long run.
I totally agree, dude. That's really good advice. I think that that is something that a lot of people kind of struggle with. I think that some people are in a sense like they don't really want to see others' perspectives, and I think that can be definitely like limiting on their potential. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
your family's potential, or just like there's a lot of stuff where it's like gaining other perspectives, or even like in a sense trying new things.
Yeah.
I grew up as like a pretty, I would say, picky eater. Like I really didn't eat a lot. I didn't really try many different things. Like I'd be going to restaurants, I'd get chicken tenders and fries everywhere I went. You know what I mean? It was
Yep.
like no matter where I went, it was always that and stuff. But like
You
now that
knew
I've
what you liked, and you
exactly.
stuck with it.
Exactly. And it's like, that can be a good thing sometimes because
Yeah.
you're not going to get hurt, I guess, if something
You're not
doesn't
gonna
taste
buy
good.
something and be like, "Wow, I didn't like that," and now I
Exactly.
have no food. That's
Exactly.
tough.
But you also don't gain that perspective or that, take that risk of trying something
Hmm.
that's like, new that you didn't know existed or whatnot. And I think that's something that I think we both shared before, that like cooking and like learning these new things and like just like learning to make new food and these things is actually really fun. And like all it is
So
just
fun.
all it is just practice,
Yeah.
just learning how to do it, looking up YouTube videos, looking up recipes or whatever it is. And like there's just so many like things to try and like new things to try. I know that's like a small example, but it can be used, for life in general too,
Yeah, just
of like
just
trying
broadening
new
your
things.
horizons, expanding
Hmm.
your palette, whatever it is. I mean, I
Yeah.
can speak to that particularly. I grew up in what's a predominantly white town.
Mm,
I grew up
yeah.
in there wasn't really anybody that looked any different than
Hmm.
myself in any of my schools or going
Hmm.
to the store. And I was blessed to have the opportunity to go to a boarding school when
Oh
I was in
yeah.
when I was in high school, and I got to live with, I think in my dorm there was 22 guys, and those 22 guys came from 17 different countries
Wow.
spanning
Yeah.
6 continents. And like I was one of the
Wow.
only white dudes there. And
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
at first was like very hesitant, I guess. I had never
Hmm.
experienced it. It was all new and
It
it was
was
all
super
different.
new. Yep.
And I was uncomfortable, but pushing through that uncomfort or being uncomfortable, I broadened what I knew
Hmm.
about the world and
Oh
cultures,
yeah.
and made some of my best friends that are from all over the world. Like
Hmm.
my roommate was from Brazil my senior year.
Oh, that's
One of my
awesome.
best friends was from Egypt. Um,
Wow. That's
I had a
super
lot of really
cool.
good friends from Korea, Thailand,
Hmm.
um, China, wherever. I met people
Yeah.
from all over, and it definitely helped me break out of, you know, my small little town in rural New Hampshire.
Yeah,
And it
100%,
made
dude.
me a better person in the long run, just from, you know, being
Mm-hmm.
able to meet all those different people and experience a bunch of different culture. And I couldn't be, you know, any more thankful, or
Mm.
possibly any more thankful than I am for having that opportunity.
That's awesome, bro. I love that, dude. I think that that is just such a cool experience that you got to have, and that I think that a lot of people, like if they were in your shoes, like they would just look at the world so differently, you know, if they had that experience, you know. And I think that's something that is just like so incredible that you got to have. Me personally, I've had a few experiences like that, because I was in a sense like similar in that same way. My school that I went to a private school, and it was like very lacking in diversity. Like there was just like
Mhm.
it was just not that diverse at all. Like yes, there was some diversity, and there was an international program and whatnot, but like it was just very um it was just very lacking in that category. And so I was in that same boat. But what I got to do, which was really cool that the school provided, which is awesome, was that you got to go on trips or intercessions. And so I got to go on a couple different ones. And when I was younger, when I was in like middle school, I got to go to Mexico, which is really awesome. Went there
That's
twice,
awesome.
which was super cool, and got to like do a lot of work with some like ministries and different things down there, which was just so cool, and just really like helped like broaden my horizons, I guess, like on culture, on,
Yeah.
you know, like what does life look like that is not my life, you know, because I was just kind of used to, you know, my small bubble of like a
Yeah.
world, and that kind of like broadened it a lot. Same thing later in high school, where I got to go to Kenya in Africa, which was so awesome. And just like around, I guess, around the world, in that aspect of like learning other cultures, you know, learning those like different, just the ways of life that are not yours. Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of Americans kind of do have that perspective of like, hey, this is my life, you know, I'm gonna do what I want. And in a
Mhm.
sense, it's kind of selfish, you know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that kind of like live for themselves, you know, where they think of like what's best for myself, what's best for me, you know, what can I do to make my status better, my wealth more, you know. And in a sense, it's like if you have that worldly perspective, you kind of realize how much like we're actually blessed, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And like how much um we truly are, like in a sense where, you know, we can learn about, you know, other people, and get to experience like, you know, what it's like to, you know, be in other places and have their life, and, you know, I guess get to like just be friends with them, you know, and like get to like experience life and everything. I think it's so much more full, you know. Like I think you would probably
Absolutely.
say it's like after having that like boarding school experience, meeting all these new cultures, meeting all these new friends, it's like you yourself have gotten to like grow as a person, you know. And
I am
yeah.
like a I don't want to say completely different person
Mm-hmm.
because of it, but I am, and I wholeheartedly believe that I am a better person
Mm-hmm.
because of it.
Oh yeah,
Um, like
100%.
100% a better person from being able to experience the things that I got to experience there.
Mm-hmm.
And just I'm more of an understanding person, and more of a
Dude, I love that.
I don't even know what else to, or how else to say it. I just feel like a
No,
generally better
I
person
totally
from being
understand
able to
that.
go through and experience that.
Yeah, and I
Um,
totally agree. I think that is such an awesome thing that I think a lot of us can like benefit from trying new things, putting yourself out there, like taking risks, making yourself like uncomfortable. Because I think that
yes,
like when you are uncomfortable in a situation, you grow from that. You know, like
absolutely.
you learn new things, you learn how to react differently, you learn how to you know, just be a more well balanced person in that aspect. I think that's like super cool, dude. um Dude, we've been talking for a while. This has been awesome, bro. This has been
We're
really
out here
great.
vibing.
Literally vibing. Right now what we're gonna do is we'll do a couple questions, and then we'll wrap it up. All right.
Sounds good to me.
So we got some questions from the chat, from the live chat on Twitch. If you guys are listening to this episode on any of the other podcast platforms, I record these episodes usually every Saturday at 10 a.m. EST. If you guys ever want to come through, feel free. Just on my Twitch stream, you guys can submit questions as well. The first question is from Simply Chubbs, and Chubbs asked how you met Mel, your girlfriend. That is the first one.
So, I actually, funny enough, the high school that I went to, that I lived away at, is actually in her hometown, and she used to do like the camp that they would host as a kid at the school.
Gotcha.
And I never met her while I was there, and just by chance we went to the same college. She was a year younger than I am in school, or I was in school, and we were both a part of Greek life at our college. And one of my friends that I had met my freshman year of college was her like older sister, or whatever, big sister in like her sorority.
In the sorority,
And I had already known her big sister from just living in the same dorm group, I guess. And we had, stayed in touch, became friends. And then I kind of just met her through her. And COVID came around. My roommate actually went to my senior year went to Paris to see his at the time girlfriend. And
oh my gosh. Wow.
Which was tough. It was like
that's
March,
far.
Like 10th, like the day before the US shut down, he flew to Paris. So I had an empty room, and her sorority house actually kicked everybody out for COVID.
Oh, jeez.
And she didn't have a place to stay and didn't want to go home to see, like, to spread possibly whatever this was to her parents.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really know what was going on at the time. And I asked my roommate, and he said it was fine. So I offered up, his room to her so that she had a place to stay and, be comfortable.
Nice, dude.
And we lived together basically during COVID until she found an apartment to sublet, as my roommate had come back from.
That's crazy, like Paris. How that works out. Isn't that like so crazy?
The rest is history.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome, bro. Isn't that so crazy how like your roommate literally went to Paris, so you had a room opened, so then you got to invite her. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's just so crazy, dude. That's cool.
As a friend, to give her a place to stay. Mm-hmm. And we lived together, and we enjoyed spending time together. So
that's awesome, dude.
Started to hang out more, not as roommates, and like I said, the rest is history. We live together now, so it's
that's awesome,
been very
dude.
fun, and I'm very happy, with the way that everything turned out.
Nice, bro. Nice. That's a good question, Chubbs. W. We had one more, or I guess it's like a two-part question. One more question. From Jody, one of the newer members of the community. Jody's awesome. What is your biggest goal in life and biggest inspiration? What would you say if you could think of it, like your biggest goal in life, or your biggest inspiration, I guess, in that goal, or who would that be?
It's a very good question.
It's a very good question. It's a very very good question.
Very good question.
I'm gonna have to think about this a little bit. I don't even know.
I don't even know what I'd say for a biggest goal in my life would be. I mean, I can always, for as long as I can remember, one thing that I wanted to have. And, as cheesy or as corny as it is, I'd always think about just having like, a house with, a yard, a dog, 2 dogs, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And just like, a place that was mine, place
Mm-hmm.
to like just have a family, because family is incredibly
Mm.
important to me. Um, and I've always kind of just had a goal to be able to get a house and provide,
Mm.
like that. I mean, obviously, a really big goal would be have some sort of like like super yacht or whatever. But I think just kind of
Mm.
keeping it real and wanting to
Yeah.
have the ability to have a place that's my own,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to have just a safe place that's mine. Make it
Mm-hmm.
any way that I want, and have a place to have a family. Hopefully, at some point, is probably
I
what
think
one
that's
of
a
my
great goal,
biggest
dude.
goals is.
Yeah. And I think that's really
And
cool that like just going off that real quick, I think that's like really
yeah,
cool that you have that goal, because I think that that goal is something that a lot of other people, don't have that goal. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like there's a lot of people that there's a lot of people, I guess, like in life that might not even have that goal. You know what I mean? And I think that's like really cool that you are just like, I guess, in a position to have that goal and to be like, hey, this is like, this is this is like what I want, for my life. I think that's awesome. I think that's really, really great. um
and then I guess to kind of circle back to who is my biggest inspiration.
mhm.
Again, it's probably gonna feel a little bit cliche, but I don't know anybody that is a harder worker than my dad.
Yeah, dude, I love that, bro. That's awesome.
um like
Mhm.
I can remember growing up, there were nights that he would get back. I would like wake up and see headlights coming down the street at like 1 in the morning, and he'd
Oh
be
yeah.
out the door at 4 or 5.
Yeah,
He'd come
super
home
early.
to sleep for 2 hours, get ready, and get back to it. And the thing that sticks out to me the most about that is that, and that he really ingrained into me as a kid and growing up, is he doesn't find his job um work. He doesn't think of his job as work. He always and truthfully tried to tell me and get me to understand that if you are doing something that you enjoy as
Mhm.
a career, that it's not going to be this, you know, grind that you need to go to work every day to make money.
Mm.
Like, if you love what you do,
Mhm.
you aren't going to feel like you're getting up every day and going to a job. You're not working. You're just going to have fun and do what your hobby is. And guess what? You're going to get a lot of money doing it too, because you're going to want to put in that extra work, and you're going
Mhm.
to want to do well. And you are going to do well if it's something that you are
Mhm.
truthfully passionate about. And, for him, he found that, and he
Mm.
never complained about getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning, and
Wow.
going into work and being gone for you know all hours of the day. But it's because he was working with a group of people to build a company. And um I I learned a lot, as much as I
Mhm.
might not have realized it growing up, that just from the way that he carries himself
Yeah.
and puts his
100%.
everything into anything that he's doing.
That's
So
awesome,
I
bro.
I definitely have to say my dad.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would agree, dude. I think that that's just such an awesome, like, I'm glad that you had that, dude, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that have like just a very, different situation,
Yeah,
and it's hard. It's really, really tough to
I'm incredibly lucky
yeah,
to be
yeah.
in the situation that I'm in.
Mhm. And I think
And
that's so awesome, dude.
don't know what I did to,
Yeah.
hit the lottery in that
Yeah.
aspect, but I'm incredibly
Yeah.
thankful that I've been
100%.
given all the opportunities that I've been given, and
That's
um,
awesome, my man.
yeah, I
Um,
definitely wouldn't have had the same answers,
dude,
6 years
100%.
ago.
Yeah.
But I think again, just growing and having that ever changing perspective
Yeah.
has
I think
given
that's
me
so cool.
um, the ability to truly be
Mm-hmm.
grateful for everything that I've
Mm-hmm.
had.
That's awesome, my man. Wrapping up here, my dude. Would you have any advice for anybody in the chat, anybody listening right now? Any final words, final pieces of advice? Anything you have that you think anyone listening to this right now on any platform or live on Twitch right now, anybody listening, or just any advice that you would want to give to anybody out there as we wrap up the episode?
I would say one, always try to take a look at any situation that you're in from another perspective
Mm,
so that you
that's
can have a
big.
full understanding of what other people might be thinking, why other people might be thinking what they're thinking, and take all of that into account before making any decisions. Two, be yourself.
Mm, yeah, that's so important.
If you aren't happy with who you are, the people that are going to kind of surround yourself or be around you are not going to help you be happy with yourself
Mm,
because you aren't being yourself.
dude.
Surround yourself with
Yeah,
others that build you up um, for who you are. And
dude.
I think
Self
that
love
if
is
you
so
are who you
important.
are, and being able
Mm-hmm.
to fully embrace, who you are is going to make, your life a lot easier. And it might not be very, easy to understand or try to kind of like put in place when you start
Mm,
because there could be people that are your friends and have been your friends for years that um, they might not be the best for you until you kind of step back and realize that you aren't loving yourself to the
mm.
fullest ability that you can, and
Or in
it's
a
going to be
sense,
difficult
you're changing who you are to
for them.
like for them, and it might not
So
be
it's going
good
to
for
hurt.
yourself. Yeah.
It's going to hurt, but
Mm-hmm.
being able to work through that and finding people that do support you and kind of building up a group of friends to help you through being who you want to be is going to make you happier in the long run. And
Mm,
by surrounding yourself with those other people,
mm-hmm.
um, I think things are going to be a lot better in the long run. So, changing your perspective, being
Mm.
yourself, and just following the golden rule.
Yeah, dude. I totally
Treat
agree.
others how you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Treat others
100%,
with
bro.
respect, and the rest will fall into place.
Yeah. Dude, I love that, bro. That is literally amazing advice, dude. Thank you so much for sharing that, dude. I totally agree with everything you just said there. I think that self-love is so important. I think that a lot of times today there's a lot of narrative that kind of says like, oh, you can always be better. Like, oh, you can always, be doing this. I know we've talked a lot before just about that with streaming and just
Yeah,
how you feel like you can always be doing something more. You can always feel like you can, you know um just be, better than whatever. But in a sense, you have to take time and understand that, like, that you are loved and that you are more than enough, you know what I mean, and that you have, you know like, you have everything that you need, and that you need
yeah,
to, like, actually love yourself, you know what I mean. Like, you need to like understand that that's like important, because I feel like we're all unique, like we talked about. Like earlier, having that worldly like perspective is important of other people, other cultures. Learning more about that is just incredible, and I think that that's something that we could all use. In that, we're all unique in our own ways, and that's awesome. We might not be as good at this as someone else is, but that's okay, because we're probably, you're talented in this other area, or you're really good at this, or you're really good at that. You know what I mean? So I think that self-love is such an important message, dude. And like surrounding yourself with a good group of people, like you said, is so important, so important. Like having supportive people around you, having people that are, like-minded as you, that are, I guess, in your corner, rooting for you, you wanting the best for you is so incredible. I think we can all really benefit from that, and we can really benefit from your advice. And I think that is so great, bro. We're gonna wrap it up here.
Oh yeah,
this has been so awesome. We might have to do an episode 2. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm always down. This has been a long time coming.
Dude, this has been a long time coming. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna be a longer episode, which is awesome. This is gonna be great. I think it was probably around like an hour and a half. This is gonna be a longer episode, and I'm excited for it because this was some great stuff. I hope you guys all really, really, really enjoyed this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening, for clicking on this, for following it, for subscribing on any platform that you are hearing this on. I want to give a huge shout out to SteeleyTV, the man, the myth, the legend, Matt himself. If you guys do not know Steely, literally get to know Steely. Come through the stream, say what up to him, send him a DM, send him a text, let him know that you care about him, and that you care about others. Because what we talked about this episode, I think, is that perspective is everything. Having that like positive mindset, trying to think on self-love and how that can impact your life, and how it can impact the ones around you too, is super important. So literally show some love to somebody today, if you guys can.
Find somebody you haven't talked to in a long time, that it matters in your life, and call them, send them a text, tell them that you love them,
dude.
Because you never know what someone's going through, and they might just need to hear that today.
Totally agree.
My DMs are always open.
Yeah,
if anybody ever needs to talk,
literally
feel free.
SteelyTV, one of our incredible moderators, just an absolute rock in this community, and just one of my best friends. So Steely, you're a legend. We're gonna end this episode here. Thank you guys so incredibly much for listening to episode number 3 of Into the Rainforest. I will catch you guys next week for the next episode. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, night, morning, evening, whatever time you are listening to this episode. And I hope you guys have just a great one. Peace out.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me.